Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Railway and the Withlacoochee River Report. As you can see, I've got some train stuff, some trains, some engines, some rolling stock sitting on a sheet of plywood. And it's, of course, a nice white sheet of plywood because I painted it white yesterday just to protect it from the elements. Anyway, I wanted to do a kind of an end of last year thing. Of course, we had some things going wrong last year. First of all, the shows weren't doing any good. In fact, I'm going to show you a video clip of just what the show in Crystal River was like, and the shows at Dana's weren't much better. We were up against too many shows and things of that nature. And then to top things off, my wife, who was getting ready to have some knee surgery, a knee replacement done, fell just days before she was to have surgery done on that leg and broke her leg. So we went to the hospital, obviously, and they decided to do everything at once. They took and put a giant pin up the femur and another pin down through the tibia, which she had broken her tibia, and she had also broken the kneecap when she fell. And then they did a full knee replacement and repaired the kneecap. He screwed it together. She had to keep her leg straight for like 6 weeks. Isn't that great? Now, she finally got that, the cast off, but not really a cast, not a cast in the classic sense that, most of us older guys would understand it, but it was more of a splint. And she's had adventures along the way. She's doing a little better now that she's got that off of her, and she doesn't have to keep her knee straight anymore. She can start bending her knee, which is wonderful. So anyway, we've had a good couple of months through the magic of video and video clips and video files. I'm going to take you back to December 2nd, 2023, and I'm going to show you exactly how wonderful that show was. Come on, what the heck? one I got at the last show at Dana's, actually, which was in December. Wife was in the hospital, so she doesn't really know about this one. We'll just keep it our little secret. That's my little 462 Pacific. It's a nice little engine. It was built in 1995. It's a Lionel. It's probably somewhat semi-scale, but it looks okay with my other engines, so I'm not really too worried about it. It runs great. It was all in green paint, of course, and I had to fix that. The 040 I bought early last year. Probably in January or February at one of Dana's 2 shows. I remember getting it at the shows at Dana's, and I got it from my friend John. And then the reefer, I got that at a Regal show. And I believe that Regal show was in Brooksville, so. Now that Ontario Northland caboose back there, I actually picked up here in January at Dana's. I was actually working, so I had not worked either of the shows in January here, which there was a Regal show and then there was the show at Dana's. Of course, people that know my recent videos know that I got that that Route of the 400 boxcar there pretty recently. That's actually a Lionel car, of course. Beautiful car. I got 2 of those last year in Crystal River, the April show in Crystal River last year. They have different numbers. Of course, it's not a prototypical paint scheme, at least not for that type of car. But they look good. I happen to like them anyway. I got both of those cars last year. Both of them, I think I got at Dana's. One from one vendor and one from another. They're both the same car number. They're both Atlas. One of them does have Lionel trucks on it. The other one was box stock. The flat car I picked up in January or so of last year, that's a Weaver. I just switched the wheel sets out and put KD couplers on it. Got rid of those stupid Weaver couplers. Those things are horrible. But it was originally O gauge. Now it's O scale. It's basically a 2-rail car now. Easy to do with Weaver cars. That 50-foot ACF center flow hopper with DuPont all over it and some weathering. I did the weathering, of course. I got that car for $2. That's right, people, $2. It was in the junk pile at Zitnik Trains at the at the Regal show over here at the fairgrounds in Hernando County. So, and it's, you know, the car was essentially complete except trucks and couplers. I fixed that. Of course. I had some more, I still had some a pair of 2-rail trucks and stuff for it. And this boxcar was the same price. It was at the previous show being held at the previous Regal show, which was in January of last year. I got that for $2. And the car, basically, it was just a body shell, but it had the bottom to it. And when I pulled it out, it had all the parts to it. So the car was essentially complete. And, of course, a pair of trucks and couplers. I'm out of trucks and couplers, by the way. Somebody wants to send me their old plastic trucks and couplers, I'll give you my address. Okay. That Rock Island car is a Lionel car. It was made, in fact, it tells you when it was made. It was made 1 of 74. I picked that up for $10 at the Regal show last year, in the one in September. Don't let anybody ever tell you that Lionel didn't make scale cars back in the 70s. Yes, they did. You just didn't know. They just used the same box for everything. The rest of these cars, okay, with the exception of this Southern Pacific car, the Southern Pacific car is actually an old Polo Maxi. Oh, that $2 box car, the one that says West Hernando Central on it, that's a Weaver. It was Rusty Wallace, painted up in Rusty Wallace's race car colors. I hate it when they do that. Now I'll find out the car was worth $1 million, right? Anyway, over here to this Southern Pacific box car, which is it's an old Polo Maxi, which they were marketed in the U.S. by AHM. Beautifully done cars. And then I picked up 4 of these kit-built cars. 2 of them I already had. I think I've got 5 of them sitting here. Yeah, but 4 of those I picked up at the same show back in September. I got them for $27, all 4 of them. The Santa Fe car I already owned, this one back here. This one up here was one of the cars I'd gotten last September. So, but 4 of those cars I picked up, and that's dirt cheap because when you consider that's less than $10 a car. I picked up a bunch of rolling stock, a bunch of box cars in that show. Had a lot of fun. And this Norfolk and Western car is also one of them. This Mogul here, it was one of those that was in green paint. I picked it up, I got that one for $30. It is an MTH engine, missing its handrails, bell, and whistle. I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm going to make those. The tender is a Lionel whistle tender, which I never cared for those whistles, so I've got that disconnected. But the engine is a good-looking engine, and when I get handrails on it and start getting it looking more complete, then it's not going to be so bad. Back to the Pacific. I think the tank car was just picked up at one of the shows somewhere. The Pacific there, I picked that up for $25. It too was in green paint. And when I say green, in green paint, somebody had brush painted it southern green. Or tried to. Somehow, I guess he masked off the numbers on the cab, or he masked off the cab and didn't get green paint all over them, or didn't go over them, which is a good thing. Again, the 040 I got early last year. I got that one for $60. I can't complain about that. And it's bone stock. It's a good looking engine. And I just happened to see one of these on trains.com listings this morning for around, I think it was around $200 they were wanting for it. See, I know where to go. I've got friends. I know a guy who knows a guy. You know what I'm saying? Well, you notice I've got them sitting on plywood. I've got 2 sheets of plywood here that I was able to pick up on the job for free, of course. Anytime you can get plywood for free, it's a good thing. I got a little bit more sitting over there. And this is going to be the start of my railroad. Don't know how well I'm going to do that. I got to get most of that scrap metal out of here, don't I? I could use the money on trains too. But my plan is okay. Here's the area I'm intending to clear out, and build my railroad down. yes, it's going to be an outdoor railroad. That's the plan anyway. I'm getting tired of trying to make modules. They're too cumbersome to carry around. And, well, anybody who's ever dealt with a lot of large modules, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just going to build my railroad in the backyard here. As you can see, I've got some lumber laid out. I was thinking of using the old PVC pipe that you see laying there as part of the leg system, as part of the support system, and I probably will. The back wall, or the knee wall back there that you see, can be used for other things also. It can also be used as kind of a natural backdrop because it is a wall. So that's how I'm intending to do things. Now, whether I will succeed at it or not, well, only time will tell. It's starting to get to a little bit warmer weather here in Florida. Even though the nights have been dipping into the 40s, now it's going to start dipping more into the 50s and then more into the 60s. And then the next thing you know, summer's going to be on us and it's going to be brutal. I'm thinking about building some kind of a lean-to up against that fence or up against that wall. And maybe putting a roof structure up there of some kind to keep the rain off the railroad, obviously. Otherwise, I do have some nice large tarp that I can take and cover the railroad with. And I'm thinking about using some kind of a roll-up system that'd go up to the fence, and I could... It's things I'm thinking of. Just conjecture. Okay, so that kind of ends it for today's report. What I want to do is take and... I've got to work on some plans. Like I said, I got those 2 sheets of plywood there that can go out quite a ways. I don't know whether I want to build a wide switching layout or whatever. Obviously, once I've got the bench work up, the plywood will be flattened out. So I'm not too worried about the wobbliness looking of the plywood. Same with those 2 sheets. I've got it to where I can go out about 23 feet. So a 23-foot long layout is not a bad deal, especially if you're running a switching layout. I am also considering, since I have a lot of 2-rail equipment that virtually could run on either the 2 or 3-rail track, such as certain rolling stock. I'm also thinking of taking my Lionel fast track, taking out that center 3rd rail, and then I'll have 2-rail track. I've got quite a bit of that, and you know, over the last year I also picked up a bunch of Gargraves track. Well, removing the center rail from that isn't such a good idea, and I'm not going to attempt it. I just look at that track and I think, how could somebody ever take that apart? Lionel shouldn't be a problem, because if you ever wanted to go back to 3-rail Lionel fast track, you can do it pretty easily, and without even ever taking and even using the original rail. So anyway, that's really all for this month, and I'm sorry I didn't get to you sooner to give you this report. Like I said, we've been a little bit busy. The wife is in rehabilitation right now as I speak, and it looks like she might go all the way through February, probably be out in March maybe. That's what I'm thinking. But she is starting to improve quite a bit now that she's got the splint off, and she doesn't have to keep that knee straight anymore. Of course, it's since she just got that off after 7 weeks of having it on, she's looking to, it's a little painful to start bending that knee right away. You should have seen what the doctor did right there in the office, you know. He bent her knee down, gave it about a 90 degree bend, and she was not a happy camper at that point. But she's got it off, so that's a good thing. She doesn't have to wear that thing constantly. Okay, so till next time, happy railroading.